everyone to our March 4th council meeting. I love seeing everyone here, so thank you for coming here tonight. We want to start out with our invocation, and I think Mr. Speedy, you were going to do that for us?
Dear Lord, please bless everybody here tonight to make united decisions and harmony. And please bless everybody to get home safe and with their travels. In your name, Jesus, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Yeah. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Silva, will you call the roll call, please?
Mayor Von Roth.
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Thompson. Here. Councilman Lewandowski.
Here.
Councilman Brown.
Present.
Councilman Hart. Not present. I don't know if you reached out to council, but he's not feeling well, so
Okay.
he's not going to be with us.
Thank you. I hope he's well soon. Included in our agenda package is the consent agenda for March 4th, 2024. And council, I hope you all have read the items that are listed. We will move one of them, the charter amendment, down to city business, just so there's I'm sorry, I need to ask, do we have any public comments first? Always forget
Yes,
that.
there are 3 public comments, Madam Mayor. I
Okay,
apologize.
I do apologize for that. I need to remember that I see that, right? Put it in red. Who is our first person, please?
That would be Miss Sue Plaster.
Thank you. I'm
Hi.
glad to see all of you there tonight, and you, congratulations on your city managership.
Thanks.
Ms.
I
Plaster,
just-
can you say your full name and your address,
Sue
please?
Plaster, and I live in the city, right down the road here on the lake. And I have a problem in that we've sort of been uninvited to keep the we have at the Women's Club, we have a Friday afternoon when we have a game time. We have some play bridge, some play trivia, and some whatever you want to play. They just come up there, but they didn't think it was worthwhile. But it's been something we've done for the community for a long time, to gather in all sorts of people. Community. Out of all of us there are only 3 of us that are members. Most of them are people we just come in and give them an afternoon out. The problem is lunch. Nobody wants to fix it anymore. So it's a simple solution to me. We just, instead of being 11:30 to 2:30, we just be 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And then nobody expects anything except I'd pass a couple cookies or something simple, but we have it. That ends that problem. Nobody particularly owns this group. It's just something we were doing for this city to get especially most of them are the elderly people that get out, and that's what they need more than anything else, is to have a reason to come out of their homes, drive someplace, get there, and go. But I think it could be held at the pavilion very nicely if it would be up to you all. But I'll just bring it up and let you all think about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
I apologize if I'm going to say your last name wrong. Natalia Figueiredo.
Natalia Figueiredo, 560 Live Oak Avenue here in Keystone. I'm going to read this because it's easier for me to get my point across. Okay. I would like to thank you, all of you, for all the work and time, which is much valued, first of all. Especially you, Nina, Madam Mayor, for following up on improving the lack of communication and transparency before and during the previous city management. I thank you very much. You listened to me.
Thank you. Thank you for offering any suggestions, which we're always welcome for that.
Okay. I didn't have the pleasure of growing up here. Because of that, I may have better understanding of what a wonderful place and community we all have here. It's my opinion, hope, and vision for Keystone Heights to be the best place for families to grow and flourish, creating an environment of community without fear of gentrification. My family has grown here as I consider the many people I have come to know family, more than friends. From what I have learned, mostly from the Heritage Commission, this city was created as a winter retreat in the hopes that young families would move here. The one tourist attraction that we have is our lakes, especially Lake Geneva. Our best asset is this small town community. We need to keep it that way. Maybe then, as our surroundings grow, they would become as good or better than we are by our example. We don't need plastic surgery. I'm referring to the parks plan. Just preserve what we have. I think that's what we need. Let's not waste time, funds, or grants. Even if they don't come in whole, especially those grants that you all talk about, okay, even though they don't come in whole, from our residents' tax dollars, it's taxes paid in part by our residents. This is not money that came from the heavens. It's, it's a part of taxation somewhere in the states, in the cities, in the state. This is my analogy. A ticket has to be bought to win a lottery. So it requires somebody purchasing or paying taxes so that other people would benefit. Like the lottery here in Florida benefits the schools, supposedly. I propose to you, let's get City Hall up to date, like what you mentioned on the workshop. Sir, I'm sorry. Working as they should be, transparent and informative to all its residents first, in order to gain most needed trust from residents. Fix our roads, utilities, signs. For example, there's no sign outside the beach. There's a sign on the pavilion, but there's no sign. I believe when I moved here, there was a sign at some point. There's none right now. It's just a little part there with very little trees. That doesn't say much. Let's finish downtown with some landscape. It needs some trees, some vegetation. Build a property program for property owners to help them integrate into the sewage system, which will benefit our lakes. Fix existing sports facility. Fix existing city buildings. Keep or enforce that our sidewalks are safe and clear of debris, so we can all be safe walking around. Keep the areas where our children play safe with added security, not just cameras, since apparently they don't deter. I think paying for security some way, it's worth the taxes that we all pay. If we are not safe, no new buildings, no new parks or events will be safe. That's money well spent. That's my opinion. Our vision should be, let's all preserve this historic small town and its family-oriented residents. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And then we have, I'm so sorry, Mr. John Zeiser.
And
If I said your last name wrong, please correct me.
I know who I am. That's the important part.
If y'all can, please keep the comments to 3 minutes as best as
I'm
you
gonna
can.
do my very, very best.
I know it's hard,
I've
and
been
I hate
sitting
to
on
have that
this-
time limit, but
I've been sitting on all these ideas for 3 months. If I don't get them out, my head's going to explode. Dr. John Zeiser, 505 Southeast Palmetto Avenue, Keystone Heights, the Big Red House. I made a comment on the parks plan, but anyway, I got a lot to go through, and I'm going to try and keep it down very, 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 very small. So on the agenda packet, under the Parks Plan, it shows what Eco Barbie put up all over the place. Nobody is saying no to Sunrise development there for the Sportsplex. Everybody would say, yep, great. The one caveat is there is a stench in July because we happen to have a sewage plant there. The dog park, there was a couple of folks that I spoke to said the locals might not be happy with the dog park in Azalea, but everybody else is very much happy with the proposal of a dog park there. They would be pleased to walk their dogs over there to go do the dog park business. And we'll come down here over here. I know we've been having some vandalism issues at our waterfront park. So I would like to enter into discussion. It's beyond me. It'll have to be here at the council chambers that we do a members only. At one time, Keystone Heights Waterfront District was members only. So this is just a return to what we already had. There is technology that exists that you can have a card with a reader and you can bleep you in and bleep you out. We can do set hours, dawn to dusk, 10 to 4. Well, you get the picture. Something along those lines. I'm doing very best. I know I have a time limit. Something along those lines. A part of the members only can be funded through our millage. The other part is a fare, a reduced fare for those with the Keystone Heights address. And then there's also those that come by that are outside Keystone Heights that could also pay to play is the common euphemism. They can either pay here or they could pay at a kiosk at the gate. We did at one time. In fact, when I moved here, had a ticket booth there. Though it was unmanned, we did have a ticket booth there. That might be an idea to help reduce what we have going on down there. The other point I'd like to bring up, the culvert fence has been torn up, so the local riffraff are climbing underneath. That will have to be repaired. I would like to see that the funds from the millage and the members only to go into just, not restoring, but upkeep and maintenance for the park itself. It's a way to offset our millage and our city costs that we have going on that are perpetually rising. Since we're not expanding our square footage, there's an increased demand upon the very finite dollars that we do have. So there's that. I know they would like to put the kids splash park down there. You're losing half, according to the proposal, half your parking that's down here. I think it's a bad idea. You could put the splash park here. You do a dual purpose with the Rotary Park, rip the Rotary Park, put the splash park down, put the Rotary Circle, the exact same shape. I already got the ideas in my head. It would go perfectly fine. You wouldn't lose square footage. You wouldn't gain square footage. You would just have a multi-purpose area. I understand from discussions with Tony Brown, not only does it have to be resurfaced, we have to go to Mineral Earth. Can we go to Mineral Earth and put it back the way it was? If we do that, we can get some square footage by eliminating the fence and the space between the basketball court and the tennis courts and squish them a little bit together. We could fence, rewire, new updated lighting. You have gas light bulbs there now. You can do high intensity LED. It will save you some voltage and some charges that way. The purpose for that is we research a surface so that on our festivals you can designate that guest parking. And that way then the guests can come here and they can park and can do our downtown. There was a discussion last year on our guest parking, and I hate to, actually I don't hate to, the parking here, which is reserved for you guys, would you please consider discussion private chambers? If you would temporarily assign that for the mobility impaired, for Founders Day parades, for any other parades that we may have, so they could park here and they could sit right here in the dirt in the shade of the tree. That's just an idea, and I'm gone over. I'm really sorry. Thank you for your indulgence.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
And I'm free for discussion later. Take care.
Thank you so much.
That is all we have for public comment.
Okay. I appreciate all the comments. Good suggestions that all of you had. I appreciate it very much. Okay, on the consent agenda, I would ask council that, you all have read the consent agenda. The only thing that I want to move is the charter amendment for the airport authority down to under city business. But the rest of it, if you've looked at it, and I'd like to entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion we approve with that change.
I second.
I have some discussion
Okay?
on the Heritage Commission meeting minutes from January 18th on page 2, paragraph V. Co-chair Collins moved to purse placking. I believe that should read pursue placking. I believe one letter was left out. Instead of purse, it should be pursued.
Is that the only thing you found?
No, this, underneath that, under co-chairman Collins moved, blah, 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 blah. And the other side would be the actual city cooperation in 1925. I believe it was supposed to be the city incorporation in 1925. And I'm very curious if I could get a copy of the trifold. I would love to see that.
You would have to ask somebody from the
Heritage Commission. If only we had someone from the Heritage Commission.
I think we have our brochures out there in the lobby, don't we?
Do we have
Yes.
a trifold somewhere?
Somebody pulled them all.
Oh, okay. They haven't been returned?
No, because you guys said you were gonna print new ones. Yeah. On the-
Can you,
Okay,
Crit-
you guys wanted to remove the 2 houses, and then I reprinted them, and then you said you would bring new ones. Okay, or
Can-
not you, but somebody already.
can it be emailed to Dan so he can see it?
Anyway, I just would like a copy. I think
Yeah, if I can find one.
I'm
I mean,
excited.
I have copies of the old one, but I don't know if it's what they use
I
like
gave
this
all
past.
the new ones. so-
Okay.
I'm sure we can get you a copy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have to vote here. Any, y'all seconded the information, the consent agenda?
Yep.
Any further discussion? Nope. Okay, opposed like sign.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries.
Aye.
5-0.
4.
4-0, sorry. I'm thinking that, he was here, that Steve was here. Okay, moving right along here, going to our city business. The first thing to chat about is the charter amendment for the Keystone Heights Airport Authority. And I guess to make public aware, and like you mentioned, you want to talk further about this,
So,
Mr. Rich?
Madam Mayor, so you'll notice that what was in the consent agenda is titled as an amended ordinance, the 2023-605. And the real change that's in there is if you scroll down to section 3, where the title is of what's going to be placed on the ballot, nothing actually changes in the context of what would change in the charter. However, the title that was approved by council previously was too long. It has to be limited to 15 words. So what you see before you is 15 words, and actually the copy that we're going to print out, it cannot be in all capitalization, so it'll be just standard capitalization on the one that's actually approved by council. But with those amendments, even though we did not have any public comment, I'll ask if you can open for public comment before the council makes a decision to make a motion and a vote.
Do we have any comments from the public on what this is about? Or any questions?
And next, Madam Mayor, if there would be a motion to read amended ordinance 2023-605 by title.
I'll make that motion.
And I second.
So with the motion and a second, amended ordinance 2023-605, an ordinance to place a proposed amendment on the next general election ballot, amending section 38 of the charter for the city of Keystone Heights to remove the seat of the Florida National Guard and add a city seat, providing for an effective date of January 1st, 2025. And just for clarification for anyone from the public, this was a request by the National Guard.
Yes. Can I entertain a second?
I thought we already
Motion?
had that.
You ready?
It was just a motion to read, now
Okay.
it's a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve the
And I
ordinance.
second.
Okay. All carries,
Aye.
4-0.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So I'm just trying to read this a little differently than normal.
And then
Um,
for my own education, this is the first time I've seen it in English and then in Spanish.
Yeah.
Is that
Pretty cool.
something?
That is a newer requirement that is
Oh.
passed down from the State Division of Elections to the Supervisors of Elections, so,
Okay, so it has to do only with ordinances that involve elections.
yes. So, in the past, I believe, Supervisor Chambliss had helped us and done that work for us ahead of time, and now it's something that my understanding the municipalities are going to have to handle on their own.
Okay, but if we just do a city ordinance about the parks or something about that, we don't have to do that.
No, you're correct.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda here is our airport board appointments. And we have 2 positions open. Just discovered really that they have different terms. Each one is a different term from the other. And Charlie, if you want to go into the detail of
Yes, ma'am.
why we want
So I directed somebody, I don't even remember who, that actually knows how to make changes to our website to advertise those 2 seats. And they did that. And I probably handed them something on a sticky note, and they advertised both seats for 3 years with terms ending in May of 2027. That is true for seat 3. It is not true for seat 1. You know, out of an abundance of caution, and the airport is doing just fine, I would like to advertise it correctly, and put the correct terms on it, and bring it back to you in April. That's why I'm pulling this off the agenda. The records that we have are incomplete as to all of the terms that are currently being served by somebody when they should have started and stopped. So I'm going to work with the airport board tomorrow night, and if whatever we can conclude soundly will remain on that list, and I may have to bring you 1 or 2 seats to say we're going to establish these terms from here going forward if I just can't find the information. Nobody has that somewhere. But I've looked, and Mr. Coons looked at the airport, and the data's just not complete. Nothing's crazy going on, just need to tighten it up before I bring it before you.
Okay.
I don't understand, Charlie. What does that mean for these seats tonight?
It means I'm asking the mayor to table this item, and I'm going to bring it back to you in April.
Okay,
Sorry if that wasn't
okay,
clear.
okay, no, I was just trying to get clarification, okay.
Yeah, just so you can clarify what the term is for each role.
Okay.
And then trying to know what all of them are. Like, you know, it should be actually publicly stated.
Right.
So there was a little confusion about it, and the public unaware of it, what that term is. So in all fairness, just so they know what they're signing up for.
Sure.
Correct.
1 year, 3 years, oh Lord, right?
Right.
So, but we'll be able to go through that voting at our meeting in April.
Yes, ma'am.
And we did something like this several years ago. We had questions on who's on first and who's on second when it comes to terms and stuff at the airport. I don't know why it's so hard to figure that out, because, I mean, we got 3-year terms, y'all got 3-year terms. So, but, I mean, we've already been down that road once, so we need to fix it and make sure we get the documentation somewhere where everybody can put their hands on it. So,
I agree.
So do we need to vote on that, moving it? No.
That's
Table
it.
it?
What were you going to say?
No,
We're
we
good?
just tabled.
Okay, perfect. All right, so next is the Parks Ordinance. Mr. Lewandowski.
So, both these, the Parks Ordinance and the Parks Plan, I was asked what I'd like to see on the agenda, and I did that before we had our workshop last Wednesday. And so, because of what happened at the workshop, I would also like to table this until we do our workshop that's just on parks. I know, Madam Mayor, you were waiting on more data, and I think that this is going to be a long, extended discussion. And so I put it on here in case there was something we needed to vote on. I don't think there's anything we need to vote on. I think we have a lot more work to do yet. And so I would recommend we table this at least until April.
Okay. And you're talking about the Parks Plan as my vandalism plan?
Yeah,
Is that what you're
because
referring to?
that's part of it too.
Correct.
Yes.
Right.
I view all this working together.
Right, I agree.
Okay, so to items Roman numeral 3 and Roman numeral 4, I recommend we table until April for now.
And since he's talking about Parks Plan, and I know that, John, you mentioned your interest, the reason I've pushed it out is that, like I've mentioned to you guys, I'm very much data-driven. And I did get a report from the sheriff's office, but I need to confer with our local deputies the data before I can pursue a plan. I already have a plan in mind, but I have to make sure the data dictates the effort. So once we can be sure about what that information is, it's conflicting what I have been hearing. So I have to go with what that data is demonstrating in order to get the community involved in it. And I will.
My comments had anything to do with what you're talking about?
No, your vandalism, you talked about the vandalism at the park. I'm talking about Geneva and the Pavilion Park area. That's the project that I'm really focused on to create a safe environment for all. And so, just like Dan just stated, he also has, we want to start moving workshops to having maybe one big item that we discuss only. I think will be a lot more productive. And so I do need to push it out just a tad, and I should have some more information in April and be able to start some kind of a focus on what we want to do along with our council, what we think works for our community.
I just wanted to enter dialogue and idea.
That's okay, no problem. Okay, also, Dan, you have the strategic plan?
So this one, I am going to ask the council for a vote on, based upon the workshop and my slides, and if you could just bring them up
Can
real
you
quick.
bring the slides back up for me? The strategic plan, it's got this neat little clicker.
Oh, wow, I get to.
Oh, we get some control.
Your worker slides, and in the middle is a laser pointer in
Wow.
green. So
Fancy, fancy. Okay, I almost feel like I'm a teacher. Okay. Okay, so I don't want to repeat what we did last Wednesday, but just to show, advocated that we need a strategic plan. I showed an example from Clay County. They have both a strategic plan and a comprehensive plan, and it's not going, there it is, okay. Why do we need one? I talked about that. My biggest is in red there. They're almost always required for us to be awarded funding from outside sources. So let's put our wants, needs out there, our wish list, whatever you want to call it, and then we can go searching for money and say, hey, it's in our plan. Come on, go forward.
put it a little more this way, your range, it's.
Put it that way?
Yeah, it's trying to make it toggle. Still not going?
There we go. So I talked about the plans that we're currently working on, but also plans that we need. And then I talked about the plans that are in work at the workshop. And so my specific recommendation was that we create an ad hoc strategic plan working group. Give the group 1 year. What I really wanted was the group would have 9 months to write the strategic plan, and then we'd have a 3-month review process, which stakeholders could make comments and poke holes in. And I want to involve everybody possible. There was a list, someone on that list there that I left out. I can't even remember who I left out. I think CCUA is left out. I think Clay Electric has been left out. If this working group has 50 people in it, I'm happy. I want everybody to have their say. And so what I would like to ask the council today is to vote on this, if this is acceptable. And the meetings will all be public notice in advance so that anyone can come, council members can come. Sunshine Law would not be negatively used. Everything's above board. And my general approach will be start out with 2 or 3 quick meetings in the span of a month, and then we break up into smaller groups. And I like to tell my students, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is you eat an elephant 1 bite at a time. And so we take this massive task here and we break it into parts, and I ask members of the group, you be in charge of part A, you be in charge of part B, you be in charge of part C, and then once a month we get together and we report back. This is the progress we've made. This is what we're working on. This is what we're thinking. And then by month 8, we've got 90% of it written, and by month 9 it goes into the review process. And so I'd like to ask the council if they would like to change this in some way. Do you like this? Is this acceptable? Can we start with it? And who do you want to be in charge of it?
So you're talking basically like a workshop, essentially, a
An
format.
ad hoc
format.
working group.
I've never heard of ad hoc. I don't know what that means.
It's a Navy term.
It's a Navy term?
It's not a standing regular.
Or military.
So
All right,
it's a
you
committee-
don't create a charter
Ad-
for it?
It's a committee created for a specific purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. But in kind of a workshop setting kind of thing. As brainstorming, sitting around, people talk about different ideas. We used to have these types of things with my
Yeah,
organization.
but there's a product that comes out of this.
Right, we did too.
It's not just a discussion.
Yeah, no, there's typically a product that arrives out of it. It's trying to come to a decision on what you focus on. Right. You all have any comments?
I do have a question. Are you looking, if it's to do with the city, it should be city residents, right? We're not gonna go outside other
Well-
places and get people to come in to tell us what they want for our city when it should be, I personally feel it should be residents of the city.
I agree, but some of them are not city residents. I mean, Clay Electric, I may not have city residents from Clay Electric.
Right.
When the sheriff's department, I want the sheriff's department, they may not be city residents. You know, so, maybe perhaps when we say citizens, that should be city residents. Yeah, maybe that, we could say that.
Yeah.
Well, if proposed, if we pass on this, how are these groups going to be formed and who's going to be manning that ship?
So, my intent is the first 2 or 3 meetings is going to be an education process. And I will lead that education. This is what a strategic plan is. This is what a comprehensive plan is. And then I will suggest parts of the plan that we need to get done. And then I will look at who is available, who has attended, who is interested, who has the requisite skill sets, and ask them to step forward and help me out. There may not be every part of the entire plan that we can complete. I may say, for example, we need a septic to sewer conversion plan. And there's nobody there with that expertise. Well, that part of the plan has a title and it's never filled in. Okay, when we get something or someone who can help us with that, then we do that. All right, but we still recognize we need that. And so I will get what I can done with the people who can help me. But I'm not going to force an answer. I'm not going to try to make something happen that we don't have any good inputs on. You know, I feel like we need to make smart decisions with smart people. And otherwise, we should be leery of suggesting things that are not of our expertise. Yes, sir.
So, after the workshop, I had a call with Dr. Joe Saviak, who is, got probably as many degrees as you, Councilman. Literally, not lawyer, MBA, taught the public administration program at Flagler College for years, and has written several municipal and county strategic plans. So, I asked him if he would come over, and I've got to wicker out a date with him, and do a presentation to you, the council, and it'll be open to the public, and kind of, because I can look at all your faces, and I know what strategic plan means to me. I can print certificates off the Army website and show you I've had training in strategic planning. But that doesn't mean the same thing to everybody else. The mayor's got a background with Abbott Medical, and that's going to mean a little different to her. So I think Dr. Saviak would be the guy to put us all on the same page, and then you can do what you want from there, but there will be a time where he gathers public input and says, bring in your citizens, bring in your utility experts, and you can decide whether you want to pay him to quarterback the whole process or just learn from him in one morning or afternoon. And I think that could maybe get everybody thinking along the same things from what other cities have done successfully. Because I've not written a strategic plan for a city before. So I think if we have that resource locally, and we do, we should use it.
Oh, yeah. And I think the beauty of that is bringing in a non-biased opinion, someone professional who's done it before and looks at what all the, I mean, there's no sense in rewriting the book if it's already been done in other municipalities, and consistency across the board. I think it says the same language. At least in my history, that's kind of how I've tried to look at it. And then the good part is when the citizens and we come together on what our focus is to make it ours. I think it's a great idea.
So we should table this until a later time till you bring this gentleman in to talk to us?
If by consensus the council is agreeable to that, I'll work out a date with him and bring that to your April workshop. I don't even know, and we'll publicize it like we have to, advertise it, and we'll go from there. Most of the month of March, this room's going to be full of voting machines after tonight.
Yep.
So it will definitely be April or later before this
Okay.
kicks off.
Okay. Okay, so next is your Christmas market
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you wanted to talk about.
So, again, if you could bring up slides. Christmas market. And again, we talked about this last Wednesday during the workshop. Since then, I have worked with our city manager, and there is a source of funding that is not a problem. A lot of money we have not spent. But I sensed at the workshop, go ahead and just, oh no, I got the slides. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, so the basic concept or idea, create a festive Christmas market gathering place. These could also be used, for example, our spring fling in, see, I think that's in March? April, with the motor surf event. This could be used July 4th when we have the Our Country Day celebration. So there's more than just Christmas. And the kiosk would be city property that would then be rented by vendors. The city takes care of it. The stalls are such that you can lock them up, and so vendors can leave their goods inside the stalls. This is, I have examples here. I first saw all these when I lived in Europe, and they had them in big cities, and they had them in small towns, and it was a really beautiful community gathering place. They would have, that's my son Luke, he's now in college, so you can tell this was a while ago. But they would have community groups that would sing, they'd bring in churches and schools and performers, and so that would also bring people to the gathering place to come watch the performances go on. It was just such a beautiful thing. So from our workshop, I got the impression that I was ready to jump into the deep end and go all out with this, but nobody was really jumping in with me. And so I've thought this through my head, and I thought maybe we need to do the wading pool first and try for a little less of an effort. My goal was to jump in the deep end, see how the swim went, and then build the whole swimming pool for the centennial celebration a year from December. But I don't think I have any support for that. And so if this is going to go anywhere, I think that I need to start with buying a couple of these and just showing the community what it's like, and spending $10,000 to $15,000 and not $50,000. I welcome council comment.
You all have comments?
Well, I will say the 50,000 kind of choked me up the other day. I like the concept. I think it would be something that after a little while, after you get it going, it might work out. 2 or 3 for $10,000-$15,000 if we have it somewhere. I think it would be worth at least trying it for that amount of money, because I know we got that, and that's not going to hurt us. But and not just being a Christmas theme and using it for all of our, because I know the 4th of July, we have people that come down at night, the night before, and put stuff out, and they're taking their chances. So that would be an opportunity for people that want to do that and lock it up. The only thing is their charges, I know you've already thought about this, but their charges should be more, because they are going to have a structure where everybody else is bringing in a tent, and that would be something we would have to figure out when you get something like that.
So I did a little deep dive.
Okay.
And unfortunately, because I figure we'll probably have a workshop to get deeper into this. There's so many arms of it. Everything from number one, where would they go? How do we get power to them so they have power? How many do we buy? What is the arrangement? Is it, a one-time rental, or is it a contract for a couple of months? Is it a contract for a year? In looking at our future tourist, I'm really starting to get focused on this increased tourism we're going to have as a result of the lakes coming back. And I think we absolutely have to be armed for that when it happens. And I've had local friends who have crafts and all that they do that they've wanted to buy, space downtown or rent, that it's astronomical for them to do that, and they can't afford to do it. But a place like a small venue like this is certainly very attractive. I know that they're working on their list of vendors that we had a couple of years ago. I think Spring Fling had over 50 or more vendors, and I know July 4th is the same. And I think the first approach would be to pitch it to them and say, would you do this versus bringing your 10 by 10 tent that you set up normally? Would you be interested in something like this? So my step further, I looked at and someone at the workshop mentioned these like rail car containers, okay? Well, there is a company in New York that sells, they're small, like rail car type containers that are portable and actually foldable. They have a door on them. They're totally secured. The roof thing folds down, the countertop folds out, and they equal about close to 100 square feet inside. And they're multicolored, like you could buy them in any kind of color. They actually have them on sale right now for $1,400 each. And I don't know what the shipping is. I could find out. But I wanted to share that, with you all. And I didn't get to bring pictures tonight, but they might be an option. You know what I mean? And to me, I could imagine having 6 or 8 of them lined up, and then we could decorate them throughout the year based on what the venue is. I personally want them to be either every weekend or at our big events, but they basically are out. Because I do think we're going to have vendors who want to come here and have set up every single weekend in town. Whether it's somebody selling baked goods, you think about the water coming back, it could be stuff to use out at the beach, variety of shops that we don't have room downtown to do right now. And then, of course, the idea is like, where in the world do we put these? But it's just an idea that I had, and I feel like the investment is worth it if I think that it's going to be not crazy money. I mean, again, it's going to draw people into our town to spend money. So, but the idea, I love the idea, and amping it up at the holidays is even more positive for sure.
You're saying rail cars, like?
They're like rail car, yeah. They look
Like
like
choo-choo
they're
train?
all galvanized metal.
How we, good idea, but one, we don't have a forklift, and how's Public Works going to transport these things?
My idea is that they stay in place throughout the year. We don't move them around.
Okay.
So if somebody came and wanted to have it and open it every weekend, it's locked up and they could come back Friday and it's open to Sunday or whatever they want to do. There's a lot of opportunity on how to use them. They're already pre-wired, so we'd have to find a way to get electricity to them, and what does that cost? So I'm just looking at the big picture, like what is the cost overall for us to put into a project like this? Start out small and maybe grow it as it gains interest. I don't know, but I can bring all that detail to a workshop, which I think is the better platform to talk about it. But I think the idea is great. Because I do think there's folks who want to bring stuff here, but it's challenging. That's my thought.
Vice
No, I
Mayor?
like that, everybody loves Christmas, and Keystone is so beautiful during Christmas time. And I think that it would benefit Keystone and the citizens to have something beautiful as that. I don't like the money part.
Yeah.
The money scares the heck out of me. I like Nina's foldable house, or whatever it's called, shed too. But I think that we're gonna need to amp it up when the lakes come back. The lakes are gonna be our biggest draw, and always used to be. I've been around long enough to see it and to see it happen. So I think that, I think it's a great idea. I think these are all great ideas. I just don't like the money part. I don't think Keystone needs to spend that much money on something like that, unless it's used year-round for something.
Are you willing to risk any amount of money right now?
I think we need to get our corner purchased, and I think we need to focus on one thing at a time. I think it's a great idea. I think that everybody has the right to speak up and throw the ideas out there. I love Christmas, and I love Keystone during Christmas, even more than I love it every day. But I think that the money part is important. And I think we need to more focus on what we've started already and get that done and make that corner look beautiful.
It's
focused.
different pots of money.
It
One is
is.
CRA,
I get it. I
and
get it.
They're not the same.
I get it.
Well, I said to myself before coming to the meeting, I'm going to put together a motion, and if it fails, it fails. You know, and we'll just see what happens. And then we'll go from there. So I would like to move that I'm going to modify what I was going to say, that we spend $15,000 to buy 2 metal cargo type kiosks and 2 of the wooden, call it German market stall kiosks, and try them with our upcoming festivals, if we can get them in time for the Spring Fling and the 4th of July event, and just see what our vendors think. You can talk about ideas all you want, but until you see it, until you use it, then you know, oh, I love this, or no, not for me. And I think our vendors would have a much better ability to either embrace it or say no thank you. And so that's my motion.
Can we have discussion before we second?
Yes.
Or you can just second it and have discussion.
Okay, I'm gonna second it for
Help my
discussion.
OCD on
Yeah, I thought that's how it went. Like the idea, but I know when we were looking for fire trucks and for our fire department and stuff, they would bring one down that we were interested in, and we could touch it and play with it, shoot some water, whatever, play with the siren. But I would be willing to do one so that we can see what it looks like, and we don't invest anything other than just for one for right now.
Would you want the metal or the wood?
We don't have anything on the metal, so if you're willing to table this maybe till next month so that we can have some information on your metal ones and see a visual and see what we want. I mean, I like that because it kind of is, the woody part is, you know, Christmassy type.
Charming. Very charming.
And I have no idea what a metal one looks, I know what a train car looks like and stuff, but
They
I
don't
don't.
look like that.
Okay. I didn't figure it would, but I would be willing to try one, but that's all I would.
My only discussion is, I want to know all in. I want to know, number one, where is it going to go? How much is it going to cost us to, we're going to have to bring power to them somehow. You know, they need electric access because almost every vendor that comes here needs electric. All in, per unit, what it's going to cost, what's the return of investment that we are going to place from our city money, what is our return? Are the vendors interested? Would they want to do this? How much money are they willing to spend to do it? What is our regular charge for vendors to show up? And what would our charge be to them for that? It's, that's just how I look at things. It's got to be about return of investment. And I love the idea. I think it would work, but it's a gamble, and it's a lot of money. We're a small town, and, maybe we, once we look at it's not just purchasing, like what do you say, Dan? You said 2 of this, 2 of one of the metal and 2 of the wood. But that's not the total price, 15,000, unless that's the building only, is that correct?
No, that's everything.
That's electric and everything?
We already do electric for people who come and do these festivals. We just do it the same way. We just run an electrical cord off the building for this small number. Eventually what you would want to do is have a full laid out with ground buried cables and platforms, but that is not what this is about.
Are these buildings wired already?
No, they are not.
Okay.
No. And so you just run an extension cord into the building and you say, there's your electric. And that's it. That's what you do. That's what we do right now with everybody who comes out here and needs electricity. We just run an extension cord out to them and they use it. So I think we could have a discussion, what's comes first, the chicken or the egg? And I understand where you're coming from. You want to know the whole thing. I'm saying just get something out there to show people. Don't have the whole thing figured out. Let's just look at it and see what people say. See what people think. Find out what the real costs are. Like, I know what a purchase price is, but I have no idea right now what shipping costs are. And so let's buy 1 or 2 of these. Maybe we just buy 1 of each. I'm also, I'm going to say, a victim of my past. I'm a military guy. I like to make things happen. I hate putting things off. It just seems like if you kick it down the road, somebody misses a meeting, we got to go through the whole thing all over again. But if we got to do that, we got to do that.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
If we purchase one of these,
Mm-hmm.
where is it going to go?
My guess is right now, most all the vendors are here in the theme park.
Okay.
When we normally do that. And it's also the most level property.
Right.
It would be easy to find a level piece of ground here. But in the long term, I think the beach is far more beautiful, especially at night with all the lights. When you put up all the Christmas decorations and the canopy of lights over there. I would love to see this at the beach, but I don't think that's where we start. In the past, our farmer's market has been in the nature park. The problem over there was electricity. And so I'm not saying we should start there. I see the word donate, and maybe we can get someone to donate for getting help. I don't know.
Well, once we, let's say we get it,
Okay?
and we set it up, and then what happens? Do we just have vendors come by and look at it and say, that's nice? Or how much is it to set up in there?
You know,
That's
this
another
is
question
just gonna be
too.
trial
Are they gonna
error.
make enough to
Okay.
pay for that?
So let me ask this. In my mind, this is not a money-making business for the city.
No, I understand that.
This is a money-losing business for the city. But we are doing it for the benefit of our citizens, so that they have a very festive, beautiful location to go to on holidays. And so, my hope would be that once originally purchased, we would make enough in rent that we could upkeep, we could pay for ongoing expenses. But the investment is too much to try to recoup. And we just say, like other things that we do, we rebuilt the pavilion. Are we charging people to rent it to try to recoup that? No, we're not doing that. We're just trying to charge them so we can keep it up and it's
Right,
nice and all
right.
that.
I agree with
And
that.
that would be the same approach here, I think.
I seconded it for discussion, but being that I'm on the finance budget committee, and we all have to be very prudent of how we spend dollars. If we don't have a line item in front of us on what every cost is gonna be to us, like the freight and everything like that, we can say we'll put out say $10,000, but one might cost us $20,000, and we didn't, if we need as a council to know the exact amounts to get one here, if we're gonna do one, whichever one it is, we need to know the freight, we need to know how much it's gonna cost us to do electricity, or any, whatever. But I don't feel comfortable as a council person, a representative of the money of the city, to vote on something that we don't have it all sitting right here in front of us to look at.
Okay.
So I would suggest coming back, put it on the agenda for April, and have that documentation for us to make a good choice, one way or another.
What do you think? Agree?
I agree with that, definitely.
I need to know more information. And I'll bring the information I have and have it nicely created. The building I'm looking at is 4 millimeters by 6, which is about 85 square feet. And it's, like I said, $1,400. I do not know shipping, but I will get all that detail and all what it comes with, how you take it apart, all the details that we feel like we need to know. Just so you have choices, right? I feel like we should do it. And we should start off small, and maybe we can get some before, things start coming up. But I do need to know all those little details, how we're gonna manage taking care of them, all those things. Kind of what the upkeep is of a maintenance, things like that. So, yeah, I agree with moving it to April's meeting.
But right now, we've got a motion and a second, so do we,
Need to withdraw your
I
second,
withdraw
withdraw your
my
motion,
second.
or vote it down.
I withdraw my second for right now.
Okay, I withdraw my motion.
Thank you.
Thank you for seconding, so we got a discussion.
I'm sorry, Council, did you say you wanted that to be readdressed on the April meeting?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Next, the best subject of the night. Purchase of 125 East Walker. China Walk.
China Chef.
China Chef, excuse me, not China Walk. China Walk's still here, and it's amazing. Sorry about that. So can I entertain, we have the opportunity to, y'all did review the commercial contract that was in our paperwork, in our agenda. Can I entertain a motion to purchase the property at 125 East Walker Drive?
I have
Yes.
a question
Yes,
before
sir.
we do anything. And Rich, you're gonna have to verify this with me, because anything in the CRA district that we're going to spend money from the CRA to do anything, and this is a substantial amount of money, doesn't that have to go before the CRA board for them to approve it, and then it comes to the council, even though we're the same people? I was always told that in the past, so I don't know if that's,
You can approve the contract because it's going to be purchased by the city, and then at our next meeting, because we're not going to close that quickly, we can have a CRA meeting to approve the expenditure.
okay, thank you. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, it's
No,
good.
that's a very
Okay.
good question.
Good question, yeah, great question. So can I make a motion?
I
to
make a
purchase?
motion, we purchase 125 East Walker Drive.
And I second. Okay.
Okay, any further discussion?
No.
Post like sign, motion, oh, sorry.
Could I get somebody to amend that motion to state a no more than purchase price?
Oh,
So that I know so when we get a contract finalized, we can actually execute it.
I'll amend that.
It's in the backup, but nobody said don't spend more than $244,000 unless I need to go renegotiate. $244,000 is really the not to exceed number.
Well,
Okay.
the commercial contract we have right now is for 240,000.
Yes, sir, and in the comments section, additional requirements, they're asking for $3,850 something and change. Just less than $4,000 that closing and whatever that the city pays. So if you don't want to pay that, I'll go try to negotiate to get it all for 240. But I just need to know a number so I can
It's on the
act on your
last page
behalf.
right here. It's on the last page. You all have any comments about the closing cost?
I'm trying to get to it. So the,
I think you can just have a motion to approve this contract. This is prepared by their realtor.
are they paying any closing?
No, it has everything. Well, 3567 is from the seller. That's probably for title preparation.
Sounds like they're having us pay all closing costs.
There's some split.
Seller requests that buyer pay closing costs for both seller and buyer, excluding the commission to the broker. That's the only thing. I really want this done.
Yep.
I'm willing to pay it.
Okay.
So again, if you agree with it, then it's just a motion to approve the contract as presented.
Okay.
It's been sitting there looking like it has for years. I agree with Councilman Lewandowski. Let's just do it and get it over with.
So we take a vote?
Can we take a vote?
We have amended?
I amended it.
Okay. I'll second that amendment.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 4-0. All right. Yay! Yay!
I agree.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Can I give you a high five?
High five.
All right.
High five. High five there, Tony. Okay, next is the ordinance for the parcel.
So I'll jump in on that. So before you was ordinance 2024-605. This had been presented before our Planning and Zoning Committee. They did recommend approval, so their vote is a recommendation to you. The ordinance has been prepared. We will have 2 readings. The first reading you don't actually vote on, but we have to read it by title and open it for public comment. And then it will come back after we do some advertising for the second public hearing and the final approval. And that'll come back probably not at the April meeting, but meeting following that. So if there's any questions about the application, we can answer that. Otherwise, there just needs to be a motion to read by title. After the title is read, ask for public comment.
I had a couple questions.
Okay?
All right, so the July 27th, 2004, Karen Nelson, the city clerk, talked about annexation concerns. When I look at the survey, I try to find the parcel 002160 on the survey. I cannot find it anywhere. Now, there is a piece of land that has approximately the same acreage, but it is not identified as parcel 002160. Do you know what's going on?
I don't have an answer.
Okay, so I would recommend, because we need our ducks in a row and all the paperwork to be proper, this is the parcel here. I've actually gone and driven over there. Okay, and it's supposed to be according to the, where's the ordinance, here it is, ordinance. It's supposed to be parcel 002260.
Well, it's a
Here.
portion of that parcel,
Okay, so,
which is, if you look on page 89 of the PDF, it'll show the boundary survey, and you'll see that it's split up. And my understanding of what is looking to be rezoned is parcel C, which is about 1.054 acres.
okay, so all I'm asking is that somewhere on this survey, it says the same parcel number that's in the ordinance,
So,
which is 23-002260.
so when you look next to the drawing, it has that number. But what happens is the intent is to divide part of that parcel so that the part on State Road 21 would be commercial, but however, the back part would remain residential for a single-family
Okay,
dwelling.
maybe after we meet, you can just show me. I've
can.
looked over this 20 times. I cannot find that parcel number anywhere on this survey.
If you look at where the house is on the picture and go due left, you'll see it says parcel number 19-08-23- that's 2262.
2261, 2263.
I apologize, I thought it was,
All kinds of numbers, but not 2260.
well, that is what shows up on the property appraiser website, because I've looked at the whole parcel of it.
I'm sure you're right. It's just this piece of paper doesn't have that.
I
It
understand
doesn't
what you're
match the ordinance. I just want to make sure for Dr. Estea's sake and all the paperwork is done correctly.
saying. I understand what you're saying.
I totally support it. Just want to make sure we do it right. I'm sorry. I
No.
lost track of details.
It's okay.
These are
It's
good
okay.
details. So we'll not have this, I would say, because we have it on the agenda, you can still ask if there's public comment, and then we'll come back with answers when we advertise for the next meeting.
Okay. Do we have any public comments about this ordinance as they're discussing it? Okay. Moving right along. So we'll move that to next month for the detail?
We'll bring it back because we have some advertising requirements that we're gonna have to deal with as well.
Okay. Next, old business, July 4th discussion. Mr. Brown?
Well, I met with the manager and staff for a little bit, a couple of Fridays ago. They're moving along. It's a big challenge, everybody being new. And, but one question I have is the sheriff's department. Has anybody from staff contacted them on the procedures of doing off-duty? Because the thing we've had over the years, the past few years, is it's hard to get off-duty people to come down here sometimes. I mean, we've never, it comes to the point where they show up. I mean, but we're like tensed up because we don't know if we're going to have anybody because there's so much other stuff going on in the county. So I just want to make sure we get a heads up and get ready for all we need for the
Yes,
everything.
sir. So here's what I can say has been done. Clay County Sheriff's deputies have been requested for the Moto Surf Spring Fling event and for the 4th of July event.
Okay.
They've been requested. I can't tell you who's going to be assigned.
No, we don't know that till right before they
But
come.
they've been requested, and so far we haven't received any denial or any reason to believe that it's not going to be provided.
Okay. So.
How about I check on that for you next week?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll check on it, let you know.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you how many you're gonna have, maybe even who they are if they're already scheduled, so. I'll just get back to you.
It's a full day of fun. So I don't know if I told you, Charlie, but when we did a walk down at the pavilion and everything, these guys wear a lot of equipment. And on 4th of July, I would suggest we open the freezer up so they can go down there and cool off a little bit, because when they're out here with all that gear on, it gets hot. So we can just give them a key or something, let them go down there and cool off a little bit.
Put them in the dunk tank.
Yeah.
True.
We'll just get with the sheriff, authorize some Bermuda shorts, tank tops, and dumbbells.
Yeah, do the bicycle. Do the bicycle.
That might get a little more interest.
But Mayor, right now, that's all we have to report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next to our committee reports, Budget and Finance, we really don't have a report right now. Growth Management, Councilman Hart's not here, so I don't know that he had anything to state. Mr. Kuhn, airport update.
I'm gonna hand it off to Mr. Kirk.
Okay,
Okay.
that's okay.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. There's several FDOT-funded projects that will be underway shortly. Includes an upgrade of our security camera system. We're purchasing a bush hog type trimmer attachment that goes on our tractor for reaching behind our security fence and trimming all of the tree growth and everything that's accumulated over the years. Also, we are receiving $950,000 for a fuel facility upgrade, so those projects will be starting here shortly. And speaking of projects, Craig and I met with the FAA and the FDOT for our annual review of projects from 2024 through 2030. That consists of 17 projects with an allocated funding of $19,733,623. A lot of big things that are going to be happening in the next 5 years. For the second year, the airport will be hosting the Snowbird Aerobatic Contest. That's March 19th through the 22nd. We're telling everybody that the public is welcome to attend and view from outside the fenced area. Craig, Mr. Van Zant, and I will be meeting with representatives from the Florida State Guard this week to continue discussions as to them having a presence at the Keystone Heights Airport. They have received a green light to go ahead and purchase their aviation assets. And so we've had a couple of other meetings previously and look forward to meeting with them Wednesday to delve a little more deeply into what their needs will be as far as acreage, location, et cetera. The Keystone Heights Airport was chosen as the site to host a dignified transfer mission, which included a C-130 and 2 large military helicopters. And the mission coordinator and the C-130 pilot were very appreciative of Craig and the airport staff and representatives from MHT Rockland that assisted them with that mission. It was well received. They were very pleased. FBO was open to them. And so it was an opportunity for us to show a lot of care for that mission. We were glad to do that. I have we were discussing the board seats. I think one of the reasons that we have some confusion is because we had Bruce Harvin and Scott Cornegay resign during midterms. And as a result, I'm not sure how the city staff handled recording that, and I think that's the challenge Charlie is dealing with, and we're trying to help him with, is to figure out exactly when that occurred and what that term was. So we're working to resolve that. Any questions?
The March 19th to 22nd event, you called it the Snowbird what?
Aerobatic contest.
Snowbird Aerobatic Contest. Great. Mr. Van Zandt, could I ask you to put this on the community calendar on our website, please? Sure. Thank you. That's going to be fun.
Some real expensive aerobatic airplanes
Y'all
boring
had that
holes in the
last year,
sky.
didn't you? Didn't y'all have it last year?
Yes,
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
There's not a lot of places that
pretty cool.
you can do this at.
correct. Keystone is one of a few, maybe 3 airports in the state that have approved aerobatic boxes.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
You're good? Thanks, David.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Next is planning and zoning.
So, planning and zoning met last Monday. Had 2 items that were, one was approved in their authority and the other one we just discussed. And our next meeting is March 25th at 6 p.m. And so far we have 1 builder coming to that meeting. So we have access to Mr. Mike Brown from Clay County to kind of walk us through how to do that. And so nothing more than that to report. Next meeting will be March 25th at 6 p.m.
Okay. Thank you. Heritage Commission. Ms. Christine?
Sit those chairs for so long. Okay, the next thing we have coming up is the field trip. And y'all have all been briefed on that, so I don't think we really need to do anything more about that. But the Heritage Commission has a couple projects underway. One is the historic designation of the oak over here. That's going through the county, and we hired an arborist who came by, and he designated it over 100 years old, but he can't be exact without boring into the tree. And that could risk harming the tree, so we're not going to do that. It'll still stand with the designation of historic. And so that paperwork is underway. The other thing is, we started up the Facebook page for the Heritage Commission again. It's been inactive for a while, and so it seemed like this was the perfect time with the centennial celebration coming up. And so I started at the beginning with our 4 to 11 stuff, and just started putting in information and photographs and everything, and getting input from the community. The response has been really fabulous. So with the 4 to 11 stuff, we happened to catch the attention of an archaeologist. And Tom Parham, he works with Clay County. He's a professional archaeologist, and he's a member of both the Historical Commission and Historical Preservation Board since the 1980s. He works specifically on these forts, and he's found over half of them. So he contacted the woman who has the bungalow across from you, the Bryant Bungalow.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
They feel like that, since it's so level, chances are that's where a good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been in communication. So he went out there and did the metal detecting. He's going to be back with ground penetrating radar to find the exact site. And this isn't costing us anything.
Great.
Let's see.
He might be the same guy who came to us a couple of years ago and walked around on our property looking with metal detectors on that corner, exactly where you're talking about.
Well, you know, Mr. Sloan wouldn't let anybody on the property. They have
Well,
been
yeah,
contacting
we
him for
did.
years.
He was really nice. Yeah, he was very nice.
So hopefully we can find, we've got enough documentation to prove that there was a fort there. It's just finding the exact site. If you go to the Facebook page, and you can see I've put everything there, the whole description of the fort. But anyway, we're really getting a lot of new information from people out there with stories and things.
Yeah.
They're donating pictures. One man had found musket balls on Lake Geneva. And so, anyway, that's it until I think the next big thing after the field trip is 4th of July. So, and I don't know if anybody thought about it, but I love the idea of the parcel y'all are purchasing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if anybody remembers that used to be Walker's service station a long time ago.
On the
Okay.
corner. Oh. Yeah, I didn't know. Okay. Financial reports.
I believe I've discussed with each of you, Madam Mayor, that I'm not bringing you any financial reports this month. Basic accounting principles have lacked, and every account has the money it should in the account balances. But there are some small discrepancies between QuickBooks and the Excel spreadsheet that was being produced for the council. So I will get those rectified and bring you the past, I think from December forward. And if I don't have them ready in April, I will tell you again that they're not ready yet. But I'm very confident nothing nefarious has gone on. It's just not accurate.
Okay. No problem. Council comments. Mr. Brown?
Well, okay. Couple things. The workshop we had, was very good. We've had a couple in the times that I've been here, but that one brought out a lot of stuff. And the biggest thing about it was citizen participation.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
mean, used to when I would come in here and I'd see a group of people, I said, oh gosh, we made the mistake, somebody's mad at us, you know? But that was a good morning. It was long, but I think we came out, you know, with a lot of good information. Today, or right before our meeting, I was asked to attend a dedication of a fire department in Bradford County. And I'm not going to go into the weeds with it, but it was part of the Keystone Heights Volunteer Fire Department that helped several years ago get that established in Bradford County. And it takes the name of our station, which was Station 10. And I hear a lot of complaints about the RV park because of the traffic. But, you know, it might be in Bradford County, but where are those people coming? They're coming to our town to eat and to shop and stuff. And it does take us a little longer to get out on Highway 100, but it is what it is. But that's a good addition to our community, I personally feel. And they had the groundbreaking for the housing for firemen. So just up the road, there'll be another 24-hour, 7 days a week manned fire station. It might be in Bradford County, but how it rolls is if Clay County needs help here, they're coming, and they do come. So that was a good thing. A lot of people there, and because of the RV park, Vince is the one, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, David, he's the one that donated the money to get that new addition put on that fire department so that they can have 24/7. So the other thing is that I have is I mention every time I walk on the trail, and something that concerns me, and I'm saying this because the chief's here, we got some four-wheelers, and they're coming out of the Park of the Palms. I don't know where in the Park of the Palms they're coming out of, but they're tearing the living daylights out of the right-of-way between the Park of the Palms and Wendy's. I don't know what they're doing. I've watched them. They go down Commercial Circle, they go to Dunkin' Donuts, but it's like this morning when I was walking, there's grass all over the concrete because they're tearing the grass up. And if it keeps on, it's going to be rooted and tore up, and it's not going to look good, and it's going to hurt our guys when they're out there cutting the grass. So if they can kind of keep an eye on those, there's 3 of them that I've seen. So, and I'll call next time, the non-emergency number. But that's all I have.
Thank you. Dan?
Yes, first I have a question. Are we going to talk about the contract for the road work? Are you going to do that when you talk? Because that was in my packet. The John Hip contract? Are you going to talk about that?
I can, I will.
Okay. All right, the second is on February 21st, I went to the State of Clay at the Thrasher Horn Center, and I want to thank our mayor. You did awesome. You really made us look good. There was one mayor there who was an embarrassment. Okay, and so I just want to thank you, Mayor. You were fantastic.
Appreciate it.
And I want to also say I really enjoyed that workshop. I can hardly wait. We're going to set a date today, right, for the next workshop?
We should.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, we should look at our
Okay.
calendars.
That's it?
That's it?
I, in an unofficial manner, went out to a couple local events this weekend here in Keystone. Had a great time. I needed to get out of the house, and I didn't, and they were all free. So we have a lot of things that we can attend, and we do attend, but everybody else who comes to our town and to our area that attends these events, and there were a lot of people at one of them. Supplies, I mean, they eat at our restaurants, they buy our gas. It was a great time. It was a beautiful weekend for that. And I had a great time doing it. And I wasn't vice mayor. I was just Chris Thompson, and I had a great time. That's it. And I was at the meeting, and I thought Mayor Rodenroth did a great job representing Keystone. I thought it was a wonderful event.
Great. Very good. I'm going to go to you next, and then Rich, and then I'm going to be last today.
Okay, so we should have had the HIP contract. They were your low bidder for the 4 road repaving projects on the consent agenda. You've already approved it to be done by the low bidder. The plans, the bids, everything's already been before you. Somehow or another, it didn't manage to actually make it itemized on the agenda, although the backup is there for you. So I'll defer to Rich if you need to actually bring that back out before we close and do something with it.
No, it just should have been listed under the consent agenda. Again, it's something that's already been approved. This is just so that you know the project's moving forward.
All right, so I just have a couple of administrative comments. I'll let you do as you see fit. But on page 1, about 2/3 of the way down, it talks about the city commission of Keystone Heights. That should, of course, be the city council of the city of Keystone Heights, not commission. On page 2, under change orders, it refers to the owner and the contractor. That's inappropriate language. It should be the city and the contractor. And it says it twice in that paragraph under change orders. The city is how this whole contract is set up. And the same thing happens on page 4 at the paragraph at the top. It once again, it says city through almost all the rest of the document, but for some reason in this one paragraph it reverts to owner again. And so there's twice in that top paragraph on page 4 where owner should say city. That's it. It's just administrative.
All right,
Okay.
we'll get those changed.
Mr. Commando, you had any comments?
So to answer Councilman Lewandowski's question on the rezoning, actually, I was trying to figure out where we got that parcel identification number. We got it off Dr. Rastea's application. So when I look back, I think you're right. It should actually probably have 2 parcel numbers, so we'll make sure that that's corrected before the advertisement for the approval. Other than that, I didn't have anything else. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I left my comments to the end because I did want to share the meeting that I attended last week. First of all, the other event I attended was the Florida League of Cities event in Stark, which was beautiful. They did such a great job there at the Rotary, or the, was it the place they had, the Armory, I'm sorry, the Armory. They had it decorated almost like a wedding. So we're going to have to amp it up here in April when we host ours over here in the park. So I think it'll be quite exciting. I wanted to talk a little bit about it's called the State of the County meeting. I've never attended, and I really didn't find out what it was about, really, until the day before. I knew we all had to commit to being there, and I knew it was going to be a large meeting, but I really didn't even know who the audience was going to be. So it's hosted by the Chamber of Commerce, and it's every stakeholder in the entire county that affects anything that we do every day in our city. And the idea is that you have the chair for the county commissioner stand up and speak about the county as a whole. So everywhere, anyone from all of our city leadership, or most of them were there, plus school board, superintendent, all of the city mayors, their council members, city managers, the sheriff's office, it's over 100 people that are in attendance. It's a luncheon. And they ask also for each mayor of the 4 cities to stand up and give a 5 to 7 minute discussion about an update about your city. And we were given 2 questions, and I felt like, I'm new on the block here essentially, and I felt like I did a fair amount of research in deciding how do I talk about this. We're already working on a $100 million project that we've received for the Black Creek project, and so I just kind of wanted to give them a feel for where we are today. And I wanted to share with you kind of what I said to the public, to them, so you understand kind of where that conversation went. The first question was an overview of the Keystone Heights community. You have to remember there might be folks in the audience who really don't know a lot about us, right? So I went through and I said, Keystone Heights truly possesses the quintessential small-town American charm that defines community. We enjoy a population of 1,553 citizens, and now that is as of January 2024, whereas our median age is 37 years old. As of 2024, our population is growing at a rate of 1.8% annually within our 1.2 square mile area. 78% of our citizens own their homes with a median household salary of $84,000 a year. Our senior population is approximately 14%. We enjoy multiple conveniences inside our 1.2 square mile area, giving residents the opportunity to walk to their destinations as desired. Our historic beach pavilion with surrounding lakes, outstanding schools, thriving local businesses, engaged civic groups, charitable churches, insured safety by our Clay County Sheriff's Office, and events that are held at our historic airport embrace all citizens and visitors, providing a warm, friendly, good old Southern hospitality feel. On a personal note, these are reasons that prompted Dave and I to relocate from Jacksonville to Keystone Heights in 2017. We love our new quality of life. 2 years ago, after several visits, my previous neighbor relocated here because she wanted to experience what it is like to live in a Hallmark movie. I invited her here to be here for Halloween. With 450 or so kids knocking at our door for candy, I think that kind of took her over the edge. Last week, my best friends from St. Louis bought a lakefront home here because they are seeking the benefits of living in Clay County and their desire for that small town community charm. My next question was, tell us why people choose Keystone and the lifestyle that people enjoy in the Lake region and how the new pipeline project will affect this. Our small town charm, historic homes, seasonal festivities with hometown parades, and historic beach pavilion are the initial grabbers for the lifestyle that most dream about when visiting Keystone Heights. Lower taxes, utilities, excellent school system, Clay County school systems, low crime rates, supported by the best sheriff and deputies in the state, and affordable housing are benefits to all. Our history reflects a special story that began in 1921 when John and Agnes Lawrence recognized the tourism potential with all of the beautiful lakes, beaches, and large mossy oaks that border our gem of a city. As stated in their historic marketing brochures, Keystone Heights, delightful place for rest and recreation, Florida's family vacation land, swimming, fishing, sparkling waters along shaded shores, and a most picturesque town. Music being played and dances held at the historic beach pavilion were those moments in time. After 50 years of the lake's recession, we experienced a dramatic change in our physical landscape, property values, businesses, and tourism appeal. The Black Creek project promises the return of our lake waters back to their pristine beauty and abounding shorelines. As mayor, I am committed to our return to those moments in time. 57% of our residents were born in Keystone Heights. I value their input and vision as it will shed the light on just how truly amazing the return of our precious lakes will be. Partnering with our Clay County tourism marketing team will be critical for our short-term and future plans for our success. Keystone Heights growth and tourism potential will deliver with an infinite vision, with much excitement and thrill as we create our very own moments in time. And that's what I shared with the public, and I felt important for you all to kind of get updated on some of the demographics. And really, I do think it is so exciting to be part of this and such an opportunity to depend on others for input and try to get to where we think we all were some time ago now. Anybody have any other comments or questions? Okay.
Date for our workshop.
Date for the workshop, April.
Can I contact you guys individually
And see
once I
what-
lock in Dr. Saviak?
Okay, let's do that first. That'd probably be good for the options.
Are we also going to do a workshop for parks, which we don't need Dr. So-and-so for?
I kind of feel like this would be before doing the parks thing.
I would
Okay.
hope that we would build this strategic plan and then work off of it, give ourselves a foundation to
I agree.
be
Thank you.
organized with.
Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it. All right, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you all so much for attending.